Hello and welcome to the People Chronicles. My name is Anna Rose Ingarra-Milch and I am your host. I am also the author of Lunch with Lucille. Lunch with Lucille is a story of how one woman's life impacted another woman. And here on Storied Women, we bring women from our community to share their story so that we can learn from them as well. And today my guest is Debbie Roman Piers. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Anna Rose. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Debbie, here's the question. We always ask one question, and this is the question, and that is, what is the takeaway today? What is it that you want people to remember from our chat?
So what I've learned through life is that it's really important to invest in others, and having in mind that being able to have an impact, a positive impact in just one person, it provides a trickle effect, and being able to provide and impact others as you go along in your life.
That's really, so would you consider that to be your purpose in life?
It is, it actually is. It's a funny story. It's not always, we go through life thinking that we know why we're here, and we find our purpose to be depending on the current situations that we have in that space and time. But one of the things that I've realized through the years and working in nonprofit for over 20 years, specifically in the workforce development, is that you're not only that it changes, but it just gets better. Your purpose, my purpose, when I realized what my purpose was a few years ago. It's funny, being working 20 years in nonprofits, and then it happens to go with aha moment, and it's like, yes, I am meant to be doing this.
That's right. When you say that, I was thinking, purpose is something really we discover.
Yes.
It's not something that, it's not an epiphany. It's a process, so to speak, and then we discover it. Yeah. So
it is a discovery. It is a way that it enlightens you, and it is the little things in life that sometimes we just do on day by day, but those are the ones that bring us the most gratification. And those for me are the purpose of what I do every single day, in helping others and trying to figure out what is my place in their life, what is my purpose in that person's life, how am I going to be able to make a change in their lives, depending on where they are, wherever the place may be. But what is my position? How can I help them improve themselves? How can I make them become better? How can I help them get to that next step? Because at the way that I'm moving myself along, I want to help other people to come along with me. Or if I see somebody that needs to be able to get somewhere, it's like, what is my way of getting them to where they need to be?
Yeah. It's amazing that when we think about our purpose, it's usually when people lose their purpose, as almost they lose their life. I mean, they lose their way. I know that at this point in time, a lot of my friends and colleagues are retiring. And we have this discussion, that they are, now what? What do I do now? We talk about volunteering and contributing in different ways, that maybe that doesn't generate income, but it definitely continues and maybe changes your purpose in life, So it's really, and I also see it in a lot of the women who are, empty nesters, losing their purpose. I mean, their whole life is wrapped around helping their children, which we do for the end. Believe me, it goes on forever.
Oh, absolutely. That's something that never changes.
Exactly.
That's and that goes back to my original comment. It's like your immediate purpose changes and adapts to what your current state of mind and space you are in.
If you're healthy.
If you're healthy. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it all goes with when I first became a mother, it was it's going to be next Sunday, 13 years ago,
okay,
which I'm very proud of. And when that moment came and I saw her in my eyes, I was like, my main purpose in life is I need to make sure she's fine.
That's right.
And that she's safe and that she's healthy and that she's emotionally stable. So for me, that was my purpose right there and then, and it continues to be. But when we talk about purposes, is what we have in front of us and what is our focus. Obviously, we have multiple purposes, but one of the ones that I personally feel very proud of is being able to understand that I have a place in this world that it's making a difference in somebody else's life, and it wasn't always there, and it wasn't it wasn't always clear, and those are phases that we all as human beings need to go through. in order to understand what our value in life is. And the way to be able to bring value to others is to first understand yours. Because if you don't understand yours, how are you going to give it to somebody else?
So how would you help another woman say, find her purpose? How can somebody really determine what their values are and decide what it is that they want to do?
So one of the things that helped me, there was a few things that happened. It wasn't like an overnight thing. Whoa, I found it. This is it. No, it wasn't as simple as 1, 2, 3, step 1, 2, 3, and follow those steps. I think it will be different for everybody. But as long as we are present and thoughtful about being able to identify the little wins. What is it that brings you satisfaction? But not only satisfaction as I'm buying a purse, oh, I feel so happy about this purse. It's about what brings me satisfaction as a human being, something that you cannot quantify, something that you cannot put a specific value. That statement of it's priceless. Those little wins, if you are able to identify those little wins in life, that helps you to identify what your purpose in life is. When it came to me during a 1-year professional development training. I was with a nonprofit organization, Europe, a long time ago. Yeah. And we did, I was selected of a very few group of staff members to have my own year up. And I have to say that one of the things I learned through that process and what they taught us during that process 1 year is I needed to really learn about who I was. What did I want to do? Where did I find the benefits and the joy and the satisfaction, and be able to put those into words. And that's where the challenge becomes, because we do it so naturally that it's hard for us to identify them. And right there and then, as I was learning about how to learn about myself and learning how to feel comfortable with what my choices were. Sometimes as women, we don't feel comfortable with the choices we have to make, but we understand that they have to be made. And understanding all of those pieces, seeing the value on all of those little wins, helped me really see the big picture. At the time, and for the last 20 years, I've been in a position that allows me to educate others about the benefits of nonprofit work in the workforce development area. And at the moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm working every single day for what? Like, I'm just sharing information about a program. No, I'm actually sharing information that will help somebody else attain their success and their purpose in life. So before it was just, I'm just working. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it became, oh my gosh, I'm working to help somebody else achieve their goals, achieve their dreams. And I'm placing them in a position to be there. So yeah. I felt the value in what I was doing. And that's when my purpose became helping others believe that we are ambassadors, to understand that helping others is valuable.
It's very valuable.
It's very valuable.
Yeah. And it's finding that meaningful life, I think, is finding the meaning in what we do.
Yes.
I once had a client, and they made widgets, and so every morning he would get up, he would go to work, and I would run into him, and I'd say, how's it doing? He'd go, oh, all right, good, and he really, his whole body, his whole demeanor was like, I'm miserable,
Mm-hmm.
And so one day I met him, and I said to him, so what are you doing today? He says, oh, I got to get out 2,000 widgets or something like that. I said, oh, okay, great. And so we, still same look. And so I said, well, what are the widgets for? And so he says, well, did you ever get operated on? Well, it's those lights. We put these widgets in those lights so that the doctors can see. I was like, wow, that's fascinating, And he was like, yeah. So I said, anything else? He goes, well, if you ever go to a stadium, have you ever been to a ballpark? Yeah. Well, our widgets, they put them up in the lights so that they can light the field. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, to not see the value in that, But I think some people don't understand the real meaning of what they do, and to see the big picture of what they do. Mm-hmm. We look to say, well, we have to be happy, all the time. But really, it's looked to be, to be meaningful, to have a meaningful life as opposed to being a happy life. I was thinking that I just went to the Thon, for pediatric cancer, and I was saying to myself, all these oncology doctors, they don't have a happy job, but what they do is so meaningful, and to really understand that the impact they make in life, and that's exactly what you're talking about, regardless of where you are, it doesn't matter what the nature of the position is, but it provides meaning.
It's part of something bigger.
Exactly, and to get that though, to really get that, to understand that, here at in Storied Women, you know, people say, well, you just do a video. But in essence, what we're trying to do is we're trying to impart some types of wisdom so that other people can really be uplifted by it. Like today, when you came in just to talk about this, I mean, it's really very impactful, you know, when
Yes.
we, especially as women, when we speak one-to-one.
Supporting each other is really important.
Very important. Very
Especially
important.
women, we need to stick to each other, and that's part of, you know, of the work we do every day. It's very satisfying. It's definitely very satisfying.
Well, I'm glad you came in today to share that with us. I really am, Debbie. I appreciate you doing that. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for following Storied Women on the People Chronicles. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The People Chronicles, and you won't miss any stories.
These stories are made possible in part by Spring Ridge Financial, Heidelberg Restaurant, Queen City Restaurant, and P.J. Willihan.